Chablis is one of the world's most loved, most famous white wines, and for good reason. There's a couple of things about Chablis that make it so good. So we're going to talk about today the taste of Chablis. Conveniently, I have a beautiful bottle open. A little bit about what is Chablis, what's the difference between Premier Cru and Grand Cru, and then finally a little bit about the soil and what makes it a little bit different. So first and foremost, why do we love Chablis so much? Why is it so good? One of the most important things for me is actually that it's consistent. Most bottles of Chablis taste within a very specific flavour profile. And also Chablis is a very premium wine. So you always find that there's a minimum threshold for how much you would pay for a Chablis, which guarantees that the quality is nearly always there. So Chablis, consistent in flavour, quality is exceptional. What does Chablis actually taste like? So it's quite northerly in France. There are only two other wine regions that are further north than Chablis, meaning that it's one of the colder wine producing regions in France. So what that gives you, if you think of it being colder, is higher acidity. The grapes are less ripe, there's less sun. So you get that really refreshing, crisp acidity. A lot of times when people say to me, I love a really dry Chablis, I love the crisp Chablis, that's what they're looking for, that acidity and crispness in it. Chablis is typically made in stainless steel. There is no oak. So when you have a glass of Chablis, you are directly tasting what the grapes tasted like in the vineyard. They went into stainless steel can't impart any changes of flavour, and then you get it in the glass. Chablis tastes best between 2 and 6 years old. So if it's produced, if the grapes are picked in 2021, you'll be tasting it in 22, 23, but you can have up to 6 years for a standard Chablis. So if the vintage says 2021, 2026, if there's any Chablis left, it will still taste very nice. So what do I expect from this gorgeous Chablis? So this particular one is from Tremblay. And you can see on the label it says straight Chablis, nothing else. So this is a general village Chablis, and it's the biggest producing area within Chablis. And the flavours are gorgeous. There's a real intensity. When you even smell a glass of Chablis, the fruit jumps out of the glass. And here for me, I get apples, but a few types of apples. There's definitely a golden delicious, a kind of ripe, generous style apple. There's definitely that crunchy kind of, I suppose, sour Granny Smith apple in it. Bits of honey, a little nuance of butter. Absolutely beautiful. These wines are perfect for me. They go with nearly everything. I'd struggle to find a food that you can't have with Chablis. So that's what I would expect a Chablis to taste like, and that's why we love it so much. There are 4 standards of Chablis that you come across, 2 of which we have in front of us, a straight Chablis, which are these 2 here, and then a petit Chablis. There's a few differences and nuances over why you would pick one over the other. Standard or straight village Chablis is the most common one, the one you see most frequently in restaurants and wine lists and wine shops, and it's the base standard quality. Because the demand was so high for Chablis, far outstripping the supply, nearly 100 years ago actually, maybe in the 1940s, they created an extra region called Petit Chablis, and that's typically found in the slightly cooler slopes or cooler climates in and around Chablis. And what's happened over the last 20-25 years, because of climate change, these have actually now made very ripe and very opulent styles of wine. And then after that we have Premier Cru, and then after that again, going higher up the ladder, at the top of the ladder is Grand Cru. So the big difference is with Premier Cru, there's they're called climat or sites, that are designated to produce a wine of higher quality. They also have a very specific soil called Kimmeridgian. And this soil is limestone, clay, and actually fossilized oyster shells. And it lends to this minerally, smoky, intense flavour, and particularly as well with the Premier Cru wines, they tend to be a little bit riper and a little bit richer. And then after that, you have the top of the pyramid, Grand Cru. Grand Cru is really specific, really amazing in that it's actually just one slope, one part of a hill, where they have 7 designated vineyards, which are deemed, each vineyard in itself is deemed perfect. And so those ones also are on that Kimmeridgian soil, so clay, limestone, and fossilized oyster shells. And Grand Cru have an amazing aging potential, and they also tend to go in oak. So whereas Chablis, Petit Chablis, Premier Cru Chablis tend to be made in stainless steel, and they're all about that kind of zesty, crisp, dry acidity. Grand Cru go into oak, and so that you get those nuttier and creamy butter, brioche, toast flavours built in. Grand Cru wines can age 20 years, no problem. So that's a little look of what you would expect from a Chablis. Why would you buy one? Over the last 10 to 15 years specifically, there has been a cocktail of disastrous climatic events which have had really, really big implications for winemakers, especially in areas like Chablis where they have quite a marginal continental climate. So typically in Easter, the vines tend to suffer a lot of frost damage, and because the buds have appeared earlier than they ordinarily would have 20, 30 years ago, the buds get damaged, so the fruit potential is slashed. So the production of Chablis has gone down, but the demand has gone up. So what it's meant is that the price of Chablis only goes one direction, and that's towards the sky. So I found examples like Petit Chablis, which are from, I suppose, the outskirts of Chablis rather than the classic Chablis village, offer really good value for money. So don't shy away from Petit Chablis. And of course, if you're going to splash out and treat yourself to something very special, there's Premier Cru and Grand Cru Chablis.